Halloween, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a witchy moon where the moon is turned on the side so it kind of just cups the tip of the nail, and then there is a whole bunch of dangly stars and little crystals that hang from the bottom of it, and then using different bar shapes and crystals, I made an eyeball that's above the moon. It is so celestial, so moon, so witch. I love it. I hope you guys like it too, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. We are going to begin with an overlay of a purple acrylic. I do have a purple, it's called a peacock chrome, and I don't think that's a term that's used widely. It's just the company that sent it to me way back when. Chrome that I'm putting over the top. It's more like a hollow chrome that's purple, and usually you'd put black underneath it, but I didn't want it to get too dark, and so I used a dark purple underneath it, which will just play into the purple and it will keep it a little bit lighter. After the nail is all encapsulated, I'll file it into shape with my e-file, and then we get to have the fun with the chrome. I'm going to apply a layer of a chrome base over the top of the nail, and then grabbing that peacock chrome, I'm going to burnish that into the surface. It doesn't look like much at the beginning, but once you really start rubbing it in, it is so pretty. It's a duochrome that is also holographic, so it's got this holographic kind of glow to it, and then it is a blue-purple duochrome underneath. So pretty. The video does not even come close to doing it justice. And then I'm going to be applying a layer of a gel sealer over the top. Once that is done, I'm going to draw a rough circle on a piece of paper that is about the size I want it to be. My first circle was far too large. And then I'm going to just make a little circle on the inside of that, and this will be for our moon shape. So you're not going to use the entire circle, just that lower part. In the fattest portion of your circle, draw another circle, and then if you want to, you can put a star in the middle, even though that doesn't really mean a whole lot for this moment because you're not going to be sculpting the star or the pentagram. After you have your little template made, I'm going to lay a nail form backing over the top of it, and then you can use that drawing as a base. So with black acrylic, I'm going to sculpt my moon. As I'm sculpting this, I'm going to do my best to leave that circle, the inner circle, blank that has the star in the middle of it. As I am doing that, it isn't going to be perfect, and you can always touch it up and fix it with an e-file later, but do your best. The closer you can get it to be exactly where you want it to be now, the less filing you have to do. And also, sometimes when you're filing, if there's a lot of filing to do, you don't necessarily know where to file because there's a lot more space to take away and a lot more to do. Where if it's really close, you just have to smooth out a couple edges. There's a lot less question of where was that line again? Where should I place this? How much do I have to file? It just keeps it all a little bit easier. I'm doing this moon sculpture in multiple stages. I'm not trying to do this in like one big bead. I am taking my time and doing it slowly and meticulously, again, for that same purpose of trying to avoid extra filing where I can, but also just for the fact that there's a lot of very smooth little lines in this. You've got the generalized outer circle shape, you've got that inner circle shape that makes it the moon, and then you have the little circle cutaway. And to try to get all of that down and all of that to look smooth and even and symmetrical quickly is kind of, I don't know, it's a little too ambitious to me. And so doing it in several small steps seems just like a much more logical way to go. So I'm going to thicken up any areas of the black acrylic that are very thin because I did do it in several small beads. Some of the areas were just very thin and would be delicate to try to do anything else with. Over the very skinniest portions of this little moon, I'm going to actually be using some clear acrylic to add a second coat to. This is mainly the little skinny parts on the top of the bottom of the circle cutout, where I really want to make sure that they don't get too delicate. But then at this point, I actually just encapsulated my entire moon with a layer of clear acrylic because, at first I was just going to do those two little skinny pieces, but it's so thin all over that the extra clear acrylic gives me a bit more peace of mind. I did file this, and I do want to say that I missed recording that. I filed the outside circle with a hand file, nice smooth long strokes, and the two inside circles with my e-file and a barrel bit. And after that's done, on the smooth side, so the side that was facing the nail form backing after it's been peeled off, I'm going to apply a layer of that chrome base again, a nice smooth even coat, and then I'm going to take some gold chrome and I'm going to burnish it into the surface. So this looks like this beautiful golden moon. Make sure that I get that all over, including those little skinny parts of the moon, or this hole in the moon. Make sure you really rub that in. After you're happy with the layer of that gold chrome, you're going to want to apply a layer of gel sealer over the top of it to really make sure that it doesn't get worn off or scratched or anything, just to seal it, to make it nice and finished off on the front. Now on the back, I'm going to take thread, black thread, and some jewelry gel, and I'm going to make my pentagram. I'm going to, at the very top of that circle, I'm going to just put a little bit of the jewelry gel down and then place 2 pieces of thread in it, kind of forcing a triangle. Or not forcing, but creating a triangle. And then I'm going to cut off the extra bits of thread so that those little 2 pieces will end right at the other side of my circle. And then I'm going to tack them down with jewelry gel. I am not using very much jewelry gel, just a touch. On the first one, after I place the thread that was already on the nail, or already on the moon, down, I added a second thread, or a third thread at this point, and I'm going to place that into the jewelry gel at an upward angle. Repeat on the other side, a little bit of jewelry gel, place the first thread down, grab your next one. So each time you do a corner of your star or a point of your star, you make sure that you have two thread angles in there, except for that one where it didn't want to stick. Sometimes when you're working with something like this, it's a little bit precarious, and so just make sure that you kind of take your time and be prepared for something to come apart like that once, twice, maybe 3 times, depending, and just kind of have an open mind about it. It's not the worst thing in the world to have to fix something or do something twice in this kind of a circumstance. It's what, like 30 seconds maybe? All I'm saying is when something goes wrong in such a case, look at it as a, I don't know, an opportunity to do it again, do it better. Now I'm going to finish off the rest of the points of my triangle. That one came off again. Once I got to the layers of the second and third layer of string, it made it so that they didn't sit quite as flush to the moon, so then that's when they wanted to pop off. Once you have them all attached, and they are actually all attached, and they're secured, and they're on there, and you can just be happy and comforted in the fact that they're attached, you are going to want to secure them a little bit more. So don't just rely on this little bit of jewelry gel. This is a temporary hold. This is a placeholder. This is I'm going to hold this for you while you get something stronger kind of a thing. So once you do have them all attached, I am going to now glue my moon to the nail with a little bit of nail glue. It may help if your nail glue doesn't seem to want to stick to the gel sealer that is on the nail to buff the very tip of it before trying to glue it down. And then take some clear acrylic, and we're going to secure everything together. We're going to secure the pieces of thread that are around or within that little pentagram. We're going to secure the moon to the nail, especially on those corners that are up above and then on the tip as well. Just make sure everything is attached. You don't want anything to be loose or fragile or going to fall. You want everything to be nice and secure. So just keep adding little detail bits here and there. Once you're happy that everything is tight and not going to break on you, then I'm going to take more of my jewelry gel and some different types of gold chain, and I'm going to start adding my little drooping down, swooping little hanging jewelry pieces. So the first one I'm going to do on the side, I'm going to attach them with jewelry gel, flash cure. If you don't have a flash cure flashlight yet, I highly recommend you get one. For any of these crazy little projects, it is one of the most beneficial tools that is out there, and I can't stress it enough how helpful they are. I'm now going to take a thinner type of chain, and I'm going to make it so that it is a single loop going across the very middle of my moon. This will go from one side of the star to the other side of the star. Periodically, if you want to, just let your moon dangle, or let the strings or the chains off the moon dangle to see if you like their distance, their length that they hang down, any of that kind of thing. Just take a peek at it, see how it looks. Sometimes you can get caught up in creating something like this and forget to check your work and make sure everything is even when it's in the position it's going to be in. And then you can find things that are just a little bit out of whack. I'm going to attach another piece of the same kind of chain that I used in the beginning, the one that's like a little ball chain. And I'm going to just put it on there sort of symmetrically so that it matches the other side. And then once I'm happy with that, it was a little too long to start with, make sure you're wearing a glove for this, because I definitely touched the jewelry gel once or twice accidentally. And if you don't have a glove on, you really don't want that to touch your skin. So make sure you're wearing gloves for any kind of a thing where you're working with lots of jewelry gel or gel of any quantity like this. After we've got all of the loops done, I'm going to take an even thinner chain, and I'm going to be adding the little dangly pieces hanging down. So I'm going to do one that is in the middle of the far side loops, one in the middle, at like the absolute middle, and then one in the middle of the other side. Once all of those are attached, if you want to secure them a little bit more with acrylic, you can. We will do a lot more securing later, but if you want to do more now just to, like I said before, have some peace of mind, you certainly can. Now above my moon on the nail, I'm going to take a couple different, just went through all of my different studs and stuff, and I found some cool little pieces. I have a couple curved gold bars, a couple short gold bars, and I'm going to be using those as well as a little rhinestone, and I'm going to be making a little eyeball. So I've got the 2 curved gold bars for the top lid of the eye, and then I've got 3 of the short gold bars for 3 eyelashes. Then in the middle, I'll place down that the larger crystal, and then beneath that, I'll place 1 of the little curved gold bars. That'll be for the lower eyelid. Beneath my eyeball, after that's been cured, to make sure it stays where I put it, I'm going to place 3 of the matching little rhinestones like I did for the middle of the eye, except for in a smaller size, almost like tears falling down. Once you have those done and those are cured, I'm going to cut off the extra length on my dangly chains if there is any. I thought mine were just slightly too long. As I was cutting those off, I don't know if you could tell, I was holding them down in the back. I didn't secure them anymore. They're still in that kind of temporary held down for a moment phase. So I wanted to make sure they didn't go anywhere. So holding them on the back is a really good way to just keep them from falling. Then I'm going to place some jewelry gel on the back of a rhinestone, set it on the end of the chain, and then grab a second rhinestone that's the same size, press it on so you've got a little sandwich rhinestone chain rhinestone with jewelry gel sauce, and then flash cure that with your flash cure flashlight. I'm going to do essentially the same process with a star stud. I'm going to grab that star stud on the middle chain. I'm going to try to get that in there. It's a little tedious. It's kind of weird to be working with this because the chain is so wiggly, and then to try to hold the little sticky stud or rhinestone right in the correct position while you're grabbing the other one and flash curing, it's kind of a process, and it's something that, you know, I would recommend having some tweezers on hand. I would just, you know, take time, have patience. As I'm working on that star one in the middle, the hardest part was getting it so that all of the points of the star aligned, because they wanted to just be a little shifted one way or the other. But once you get it, make sure that you flash cure that. Repeat the process for the final little crystal or rhinestone on the other side of the chain. Once you have all of them done, make sure that you cure this fully. I would cure it with the nail face up, as you can see it in the video, and then I would also cure it face down. Just turn it around to make sure everything is on exactly where it should be. Once you're happy with the placement of all of these pieces, you can cover up your jewelry gel with acrylic. I thought the back of this looked a little bit unfinished with the different gold pieces that were visible and then the black background. So I decided to use a gold glitter acrylic to cover the background, or to cover the back of my moon. I thought that was a really nice kind of finishing touch for this. After you have that done, if you want to apply some gel sealer or something over it so that it's shiny, you certainly could do that as well. I think just on its own that gold really completed the back of this. Usually you don't worry about what the underside of nail art looks like, but in this circumstance with this nail so absolutely crazy and insane, I figured it was a little bit more important. After you're done with that, this nail is done. There's just so much going on with it, and it looks like it should be a jewelry piece, like it should be a necklace pendant or something. I love it. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. I love all the chrome elements to it as well. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future Halloween videos and the other ones. Bye!